Me and Robin are pretty, pathetic, and always sitting ready to be hypocritical. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I am Raphael and I am here to review episode 7 of The Real Housewives Who Are Hypocrites of Potomac. So we start the episode off right where we left off with Mia on the phone with Peter Center Peach Thomas, and she's letting him know that they're all planning on going to this bar 1. So she starts naming everybody who's coming. She was like, Ashley's coming, Giselle is coming, Charisse is coming. Do you remember Charisse? Me neither. Wendy is coming and Robin is coming. Peter, his only concern is that Wendy's coming. Now, if I was him, my bigger concern will be that Robin and Giselle are coming. If I was him, I would have told Mia, wait a minute, did you say Robin? Yeah, actually, Mia, I'm so sorry, but my bar is actually closed tonight. We're doing maintenance work. But there's a nice little bar down the street that you could go to, but Peter, in typical friend of the show fashion, he tells Mia all of a sudden, oh, did you say Wendy's coming? Well, I actually have some beef with her. And I'm like, Peter, there's no reason why you should have any type of beef, turkey, lamb, pork, any of that with Wendy. Like, for what? So then Mia, being nosy, she was like, wait a minute, Peter, hold on. Did you just say that you have beef with Wendy? About what? Tell me more. I want to know more. So then Peter, of course, trying to milk the whole situation, he tells Mia, oh, well, I'll tell you, but I'll tell you later at my bar where the cameras are there and I'm getting camera time and I'm promoting my restaurant. Also, you have to buy something from the menu before I tell you anything. I'm like, Peter, please. So then Mia, she gives us an interesting backstory between her and Peter Center Peach Thomas. And she goes on to say, well, me and my husband, Gordon, we've known Peter for 10 years. We love him like family. We've always been there for him for all of his businesses. He's actually the second man to hold my daughter next to Gordon. And I really love Peter a lot. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is just a way to get Peter onto the show for some reason. But no, come to find out that everything that Mia just said is actually true for once. And we see receipts and pictures of her, Gordon, her husband, and Peter at these different events from years ago. And I'm like, Peter, how do you get around like that you end up being friends with somebody who just so happened to be on The Real Housewives? Like, at this point, this is my conspiracy theory. At this point, I feel like Peter, he's a time traveler. He has his own The Real Housewives multi-universe that he has going on in his room or his house. And he's probably planning all of this, like probably in the past, 5 years ago, even before he met Cynthia, he was probably, predicting like, okay, I know that this woman right here, Cynthia, she's going to be on this show, The Real Housewives of Atlanta. So you know what? Let me marry her. Wait a minute, but our marriage is not going to work out. So let me jump into the future. So of course, he opened up the portal. He jumped into the future, 2002, 2021, 2022. He saw Mia. He saw that Mia was eventually going to be onto the show. So of course he went back into the past. He somehow found his way to Mia and he befriended her and boom, here we are with him on the show. I'm convinced that that's the only reason why Peter continues popping up on The Real Housewives from city to city, because the world cannot be that small. And I have a feeling, and I could bet you $5, I'll bet you $2, that eventually we're gonna see Peter pop up on The Real Housewives of Miami. Like, I could picture it now. Peter dating Lisa. Lisa, she just got cheated on, allegedly, by her husband. So now they're going through a divorce. So I have a feeling that, give it 2-3 years. Eventually, we're going to see Peter all of a sudden dating Lisa, and boom, he's going to be holding a mojito. Then we see Ashley going into Robin and Giselle's room and they ask her, so how's the house hunting been? Giselle was probably laying in bed thinking, please don't get a house, please don't get a house, please don't get a house. But Ashley, she lets us know that she actually found the house, but she had to take back her offer. The second that she said, I had to take back my offer, Giselle was probably thinking, yes. But she had to take back her offer because they wanted her to move in later on than what was expected of her. She wants to move out of Michael's condo by June, and I don't blame her. So then she starts talking about Michael. That right there, I would have been like, Like, no, we are on vacation. We are in Miami. We are not about to be talking about Michael. It's already bad enough that we had to talk about him for 6 years straight on this show. And now you want to talk about him on vacation? Absolutely not. If anything, I would have told her, Ashley, stop. I get it that you're going through this whole situation, but let's talk about it when we get back to Potomac. Right now, we're on vacation. Let's go out to the club. Let's find somebody to get us drinks. Come on, let's go. But Ashley, she goes on to say that Michael has been texting her and he's been frustrated and he's been upset and throwing tantrums through text because he has to take care of the kids and he doesn't really know how to take care of children. All he knows how to do is cheat behind Ashley's back. So he's been texting her like, oh, how do you change diapers? How do you do this? Where's the bottle? What's going on? I hate life. I hate this. How much do I have to pay you in this whole divorce? And Ashley, it's very simple. All you have to do is click that little button on the iPhone that says do not disturb. All you have to do is just boop. And that's it. You don't have to hear about Michael for this whole vacation. Then we see Mia and Jacqueline, right? The best friends, or so they say, or so Mia says. And yeah, this whole scene right here, this whole episode actually was very telling on how Mia's friendship is with Jacqueline, or how she sees other people around her or her friends. Because Jacqueline, she's walking around, she's looking for Mia. She was like, Mia, can I get some of your deodorant? That right there, that's a red flag. How do you come to vacation, let alone Miami, with no deodorant? Like, you knew that you were going on vacation and you didn't, pack anything? Like, that should be at the top of the priority list. But Mia, she goes on to say, no, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not going to give you my deodorant. It's already bad enough that I have to give you my toothbrush, my tampon, my lotion, and now you want my deodorant? It's not happening. Next thing you know, she throws Jacqueline underneath the bus, or at least underneath the ball sack, because she puts her business out there. And she was like, remember, Jacqueline, when you had to, you needed a shaver or something, and you used Gordon's ball shaver? And I'm like, a what? She used a who? Whose ball shaver? Like, Jacqueline, where's the self-respect? Where's the self-love? Where's the shame? She goes on to say that she didn't know that it was Gordon's ball shaver, and that's why she accidentally used it. But regardless, why are you using somebody else's shaver to begin with? Like, Jacqueline, yeah, you could stay a friend of the show, because I don't see you being a full-time housewife. Like, full-time housewives do not do that. But Mia, it's just very telling how she tries to embarrass Jacqueline, because it wasn't like she was trying to be playful with her. Like, oh, no, I'm not going to give you my deodorant. No, stop it. She could have told her in private, like, oh, there's a CVS like 3 minutes away from this house. Just go down the street. Maybe there's a store or something. Go buy one. No, she was just putting her on blast and trying to embarrass her. And she was doing it in a malicious way. And I feel like with Mia, she treats Jacqueline like her assistant or like her employee or something like that. She treats her like she's underneath her. And Mia, she feels like she's like on a throne or something. Or at least that's the vibe that I got, because Mia, we then see Wendy calling Candace, and she lets her know that she's going to be landing around 10 o'clock at night. And I just kept watching this like, Candace, is there any way that you could reschedule your flight a couple of hours earlier, so that way you could at least be in Wendy's corner when shit goes left later on with her and Mia? But then we see Wendy meeting up with Karen downstairs in the living room. Karen, she's questioning why Charisse, all of a sudden now, she wants to have a luncheon with her. So she's telling Wendy, I just don't understand why Charisse wants to meet up all of a sudden. Like, it's been 5 years. We haven't really connected after all this time, so I don't get what exactly she wants now. And it's just so obvious that Charisse, she just wants to have a moment with Karen to be back onto the show. There is no way, there's no possible explanation of why you have not talked to Karen for 5 years. It's not like it's been 2 weeks or 5 weeks or 5 days. It's been 5 years that you have not reached out to Karen. Now, all of a sudden, now that you're back onto the show, now all of a sudden you want to have a luncheon with Karen? How convenient. Next thing you know, we see Giselle. She's walking out to the house. She sees Ashley on the balcony making her TikToks. And, I noticed that with Ashley, she makes a lot of dancing videos. And I feel like if she put all her dancing videos on OnlyFans, she will make a lot of money. I mean, I'm pretty sure she probably makes something on TikTok, but I feel like on OnlyFans, she will make a lot more money. So she's out there, she's dancing Giselle. She's trying to mimic her. She was like, and I'm like, look at Giselle. So then Mia, she comes out, she looks nice in her red dress, but already she's talking about her best friend and putting her on blast to Giselle, out of all people. So she goes on to tell her, I just can't believe that Jacqueline, she will really ask me, for my deodorant. Like, I'm always giving her stuff on vacation and I'm sick of it. She's never prepared for anything. I have to give her toothbrush, lotion, tampons, and now my deodorant. Like, enough is enough. And I'm like, again, Mia, you're telling Giselle out of all people, and she loves this type of gossip. And she's probably going to take it all in, and she's probably going to spread it to the rest of the group. Like, oh, did you hear that Jacqueline can't afford this? She can't afford that. She can't do this. She can't do that. And again, you're still okay with that. And you know that, but again, Mia just gives me that vibe of the person who wants to be cool with the cool kids or the cool people, and she'll do anything to get within that circle, even if that means throwing her own friends underneath the bus for a punchline. So then Ashley comes down and joins them, and Mia lets them know that they're going to be going to bar 1. Ashley, she's putting 2 and 2 together, and she was like, wait, bar 1? Isn't that Peter Thomas's struggling bar here in Miami? We're going to go there? Don't he and Wendy have some type of business arrangement? Mia, of course, she cannot resist herself, so she was like, I mean, yeah, they do, but like Peter told me that him and Wendy, that they have like some beef together or something, like something's going on between them. So then Ashley's like, so are you gonna tell Wendy that we're going to bar one? Mia, she was like, I mean, no, I mean, should I? Why should I? No, I'm not gonna do that. We're just gonna go and have a good time. Like, it's Peter, so like, why not? And of course, Mia's just trying to set Wendy up because she's probably trying to blindside her by taking her to this place. Next thing you know, Peter pops up and Wendy's probably gonna be like, oh, I feel uncomfortable because I was trying to avoid him. So Mia knows what she's doing. Then we have Giselle in her confessional, and she goes on to explain how her and Peter met at the BET Awards years ago and how they stayed in contact. But Peter had told Giselle, oh, there's a woman in your group. I don't really know her name, but she's trying to open up a lounge with me, and I'm not really sure if I could take her serious because I don't really know if she could afford it or not. And then Giselle, she goes on to say, yeah, Wendy, I'm not really sure why Peter will even get involved with Wendy because Wendy, she has no money. She's broke. And I'm like, Giselle, that is rich. No pun intended. Coming from you, a person whose house looks like one of the houses that on the Three Little Pigs made in the little fairy tale book. So everyone reunites back in the kitchen and Mia tells everybody if they want to take a shot. Ashley, she was like, yeah, of course. There's a bear shit in the woods. And I'm like, just say yes. And then Mia, she was like, does a frog have a watertight asshole? And I'm like, does a frog have a watertight asshole? Huh? If I ever become a stripper, that's gonna be my stage name. To the stage, coming out right now, watertight asshole. But they proceed to take their shot and then they get on the go, right? So they're on their way to bar one. And in one truck, we have Mia, her best friend, Jacqueline, Wendy, and Karen. And the other end, we have Charisse. Don't know why she's on the show. We have her, Giselle, Robin, and Ashley. So in one car, right? Karen, they're talking about Charisse. Mia, she's giving her opinion. And she was like, I'm just so glad that Charisse decided to stay in the house and she decided to not, go to the hotel. I just feel like, she was being a little dramatic and a little extra. And again, remember what I said right here, because she's talking so much shit about Charisse and saying, oh, she was being extra. She was doing this. She was doing the most. Like, you really need to stop. Like, just chill out and be in your room, and that's that. She was saying all of this, right? Because later on, all of a sudden, she's gonna pretend like she doesn't remember. And then Karen, she was like, I mean, yeah, I do understand what you're talking about, Mia. I do get it. I understand. But, Charisse, I'm not really bothered by her at all. So then Jacqueline, I think that she's trying to put her 2 cents in, if she has that, because, she doesn't have any deodorant, so I'm pretty sure she doesn't have any 2 cents either. But she's trying to insert her 2 cents in the conversation. Mia, she shuts her down completely. She was like, am I talking to you? I'm talking right now, okay? I'm talking right now. And Jacqueline, she just allows that. And Jacqueline is just like, okay, I'll be on my phone. I'll be tweeting over here, okay? I'm like, Jacqueline, absolutely not. I wish one of my friends would act like this towards me. Ooh, that'll be the day. Meanwhile, back in the other truck, if one conversation wasn't bad enough, this one just takes a complete left turn because they're talking about their podcast, Giselle and Robin's podcast, Reasonably Delusional. And they had posted like a post or something. And I had heard this podcast too, I believe, because I do listen to their podcast. It's pretty interesting if you put your feelings about them to the side on the show. But they were talking about, can you take a shit in front of your significant other? And I was with Charisse. Charisse was like, no, I have never done that. I would never do that. And yeah, I'm on that side because I was in a relationship for 4 years with somebody and never once did we ever do that. Like, never once did we take a shit in front of each other or I don't like using this word specifically. It makes me cringe. It's one of the words that I don't like using, but farting. We never did any of that. I just feel like if that was to happen, it would make me uncomfortable, but I'm down for anything else. So then Robin proceeds to say that when she takes showers, sometimes her sons walk in and they see her naked, but she continues washing like it's nothing. And I'm like, Robin, yeah, you could have, yeah, I don't know. For me, listening to that sounds, for me, it just sounds very strange. And Giselle, she was just like, but your son, Corey, he's 14 years old. He's a teenager. And you're okay with that? And Robin was just like, yeah. I still continue scrubbing like it's nothing. Like, he's fine. And I'm like, yeah, no, absolutely not, Robin. Again, that's just a little strange for me. What do y'all think? Would y'all be comfortable with that? Are y'all okay with that? Do y'all think what she said is just normal or just regular between mom and son? I don't know, but Ashley, then she makes it no better either because Ashley, she jumps in and she was like, oh yeah, my mother, she does that all the time too with my brother. My brother, he's a grown man now, and every now and then she continue showering or she's naked in front of him. And I'm like, Ashley, and again, Giselle, I was with Giselle. Giselle just kept looking at both of them like, like she was probably screaming like, get me out of this truck. They finally arrive at bar one and they're all sitting around the dinner table. So Wendy, she's sitting on the far left side of the table, followed by Karen, followed by Mia, followed by Ashley. On the other side of the table, we have Jacqueline, Charisse, Giselle, and Robin. They start talking about Candace and when she's gonna be arriving in Miami. Wendy, she lets them know that she's gonna be arriving around 10. So Ashley, she was like, oh, the second that Candace gets here, the atmosphere is gonna change. There's gonna be a change in the air. So Robin, she was like, you know, both of you two have a big issue between each other. And I'm like, no, Robin, the whole issue started with Ashley. And if we really want to get technical, the whole issue started with Giselle. And then it kind of like, you know, was kind of like a domino effect of piling up on Chris and Candace. So, I mean, I'm not sure. This is not a two-way thing. Ashley, she goes on to say, well, she did talk about my husband and she doesn't like it when the mirror is reflected back at her. And I'm like, Ashley, no. Again, she was trying to be cool with you and then you just had to mess everything up by, you know, I'm assuming that she's lying about this whole situation with Deborah, or maybe she's not, who knows? But either way, you threw out the accusation to her face, trying to be malicious. So again, it's just like you expect her to be cool with that. Next thing you know, Ashley, she starts asking around. So wait, did somebody say that I said that, you know, Chris was touching on people's butts or something like that? They're all like, who said that? Who said that? Who said that? And I'm looking at Giselle like, Giselle, why are you acting confused? This came out of your mouth. Even in the flashback, even when that happened, I said it in my review. I'm like, wait a minute, Giselle. Why are you saying that Chris was touching on people's butt and grabbing on people's butt when that was never a thing? I actually never said that. Even in the flashback conversation with her and Karen, I believe she never said it. She just kind of alluded that Chris was, you know, leaning into people and that's that. And again, I said it before, but it is not funny what they're doing with Chris because they're just putting all this out there like, and they're laughing at it like, oh yeah, no, he wasn't touching on people's butt. Oh yeah, he was touching on people's butt. He was groping them. He was doing this. He was doing that. And again, let's say that everything that they're all just laughing about right here in this conversation is not true. Then what happens to Chris's reputation? So next thing you know, the conversation changes to, you know, that to Charisse. Giselle, she was like, okay, bar one is going to close in 2 hours. We need to produce a scene. So she was like, oh, so, you know, Karen, Charisse, I'm so glad that both of you, you know, you were two smiling in each other's faces at the airport. I'm so glad that both of you are best friends. And I'm like, Giselle, you know exactly what you're doing. Stop it. So then Charisse, she was like, Karen, I'm just so glad that, you know, me and her, we're trying to be in a better place. But, you know, some people, you know, they think that I'm not coming from a good place, you know. And then Karen was just like, wait, who are you talking about, Charisse? Who are you talking about? Who said that you're not coming from a good place? So then Charisse, she was like, Wendy. Wendy's your name, right? Wendy? Yeah, Wendy said it. So then Wendy, she was quick to tell Charisse, no, this is not between me and you. Your issue is between you and Karen. Don't try to deflect it over on me, Charisse, because now you have Karen in front of you and you still don't want to say anything. You keep avoiding her, but for some reason you keep saying that you want to fix things between her, but every time you have the opportunity, you don't. So are you scared of Karen? And Charisse, I'm not understanding either, because if you're trying to get back onto the show, why do you keep avoiding Karen? I mean, it's not like she's avoiding her the way Karen is avoiding her, because every time Karen sees her, she always walks the other way. But Charisse, every time that Karen is around, it's like crickets. It's like nothing. Like she doesn't say anything. She doesn't approach her. She doesn't talk to her. So it's just like, again, you want to have this sit down or this luncheon with Karen, but it's just like, for what? And so Mia decides to jump into the conversation, and Mia has been itching for a fight with Wendy from the very beginning of this episode. From the second that Peter Center Peach Thomas had told her, oh, I have beef with Wendy, Mia has had a target on Wendy, and this was just a way to get it started. So Mia, she was like, Wendy, stop. Wendy, wait a minute. So then Wendy, she puts her on blast, and she was like, Mia, what are you talking about? Why are you trying to defend Charisse now when you were just in the car agreeing with everything with Karen, saying, oh, Charisse was doing too much. She was being extra. She was doing this, that, and the third. You were just talking so much shit about her in the car. And Mia, I don't understand it. Now, all of a sudden, Mia forgets, and she was like, no, I did not. I never said that. I never said that. I never, ever said that. And I'm like, Mia, but yes, you did. You were just agreeing with Karen just a second ago, saying, oh yeah, I can see why you don't want to talk to her because she does too much. She does this, she does that. She's just too extra, blah, blah, blah. And now because Charisse is in front of you, now you don't remember. Okay, but then eventually she kind of admits to it in a playful way. And she was like, Sharice, I mean, I did say that, like, you're so holier than thou, you're so grand, you're so this, you're so that, like, you were just being extra, but I still love you and everything. I'm still gonna like your pictures on Instagram. It's nothing serious, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing. And I'm like, okay, Mia, okay. So then eventually the issue goes back to Sharice and Karen. So then Sharice, she's talking to Karen and she was like, Karen, I just don't understand, why you keep avoiding me or anything, because oh, I'm sorry, I'm filming a show. I just don't understand why you keep avoiding me and stuff. I'm trying to fix issues with you that we had 5 years ago. Why don't you want to accept it, and why don't you want to sit down or anything? How am I supposed to know, what issues we have between each other? And then Karen, I was with Karen. Karen was just like, well, Sharice, I really don't have to know anything about what happened between us for 5 years ago. Everything that happened between me and you, it was 5 years ago, and I'm at peace with it. So then Sharice was like, okay, but how do you move on, though? How do you move on knowing that, we had issues between each other? And then Karen put the nail on the coffin. She was like, well, I did move on. I moved on 5 years ago. Ooh, Karen was so quick with it. If I was Sharice, I would have just gotten up and I would have been like, okay, I tried to come back as a housewife or a friend. This is not going to work. I'm just going to go, okay? Bye. Next thing you know, we see Peter walking out as if he owns the place. He does, but that's not the point. He's walking out with his chest all out like, yeah, I am the Peter Thomas. Hear me roar. And I'm like, Peter, please sit your ass down. Nobody's here to lick at you. But he greets everybody. He says hi to Wendy. He doesn't say anything else past that, and that's that, and he disappears. And I'm like, okay, that's that. So Mia, she tells the group, you guys, I'm gonna go to the bathroom really quickly. Like, give me 1 second. So Mia, she gets up and she goes over to meet up with Peter, followed by Sharice. And I'm like, Sharice, Peter, Mia, again, where's the correlation, Sharice? Why are you following Mia? Why are you going over to talk to Peter? What's going on? Your storyline is sitting right at the dinner table, right in front of you, Karen. So I'm not understanding. So Mia, she's talking to Peter and she was like, so like, Peter, like, what's going on? What's up? What's the 411? Please tell me what's been happening. And then he proceeds to tell everything going on between him and Wendy. He was like, I just don't understand Wendy. Like, we had a whole business deal. I sent her this contract. She never responded. And now she's here in my restaurant. I just don't get it. I'm really offended by that. And I'm like, Peter, it's just, somebody please get this man a show so he could be quiet and he could leave the Housewives forever. Like, somebody please give him like a little glass champagne flute or something. Like, give him like a baby peach, something to keep him quiet and to keep him off the show, to keep him off Bravo. Mia, she takes that and she runs with it. She was like, oh, really? So she's like a really bad business partner. Like, that's what you're basically saying. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. With Wendy, I don't think that she really has the money that you're looking for, Peter. Like, you deserve so much better. And then Sharice, here she comes. Okay, I'm gonna go sit back down at the dinner table because I see that this conversation doesn't concern me. So I guess I'm just gonna go. But Peter, I want to pick your brain later, because I want to open up this. I want to open up the champagne lounge with you, possibly in the future. And I'm like, Sharice, come on, Sharice, come over here, Sharice. Like, stop it, please. Like, please exit stage left. So she disappears. So then Mia, she continues on and she was like, so what's going on with you and Wendy? Like, what's beef? Like, what's the problem between both of you? Peter, he goes on to say, well, I just really don't like that Wendy, she's in my city. And I'm like, your city? I'm like, last time I checked, Miami did not belong to Peter. He goes on to say, yeah, I don't like that she's in my city, in my restaurant, eating my food, and she doesn't even want to text me about our business contract or anything like that or whatever. And I'm like, Peter, again, it's just like, and again, this whole situation is caused between him and Mia. Like, he kind of like, set the spark, and Mia kind of like lit the whole thing up to a whole different level. So Mia was just like, interesting. Okay, well, if I was you, I will bet with Sharice. Sharice, I would actually trust her because I feel like she has money. And I'm like, Okay. I mean, if she had money, she wouldn't be back on the show now, would she? But okay. So then Mia, she was like, okay, Peter, it was nice talking to you. Mwah, mwah. Love you. Bye-bye. So then she walks back to the table. And of course, she's ready to like just throw this in Wendy's face. She's sitting there. And then they're like, oh, so what happened between you and Peter? What's going on? Like, is everything okay? And then Mia, she was like, well, I mean, I actually talked to Peter and, we actually FaceTimed earlier and he actually said that he had beef with somebody at this table. Giselle, Giselle was just foaming at the mouth. She was like, who does he have beef with, Mia? Go ahead, tell me who does Peter Thomas have beef with at this table? So Mia, she was like, well, he actually said that he has beef with Wendy, with you, Wendy. Wendy, she was quick with it. She was like, beef with me? I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about because I don't have beef with men. I'm like, yes, Wendy, Mia was probably pissed. She was probably thinking, oh, fuck, I didn't expect that quick answer from her. What do I say now? In the confessional, Wendy goes on to explain a little bit further the whole issue between her and Peter and how Peter sent her a contract. But Wendy, she responded and she was like, well, I want to see the location of the bar that you're trying to scam me and all of my money out of first before we do anything moving forward. He never responded to her, so the conversation never went nowhere. So Peter, I think that you forgot to tell Mia the rest of the story, but again, like I've been telling Wendy from the very beginning, fucking around with Peter Thomas, that's never going to get you anywhere good. So if I was you, just delete his number and that's that, because look what's about to happen now. So she continued on and Mia, she was just like, well, first of all, that's family right there. That's family between me and Peter. And I'm just like, the fact that you're claiming Peter and saying that he's part of your family, I mean, I guess if that's something to be proud of. But she goes on to continue talking to Wendy. She was like, I just feel like, when you touch down in Miami, you need to report to Peter. You need to at least tell him that you're here. And I'm like, since when? Like, no, absolutely not. Absolutely none of them. None of these women need to report to any men unless it's, I guess, their husband. And even then, you don't have to. So Wendy, again, she was quick with it. She was like, no, I don't have to do that, Mia. I don't have to report to anybody but my own husband. Like, if you want to do that with your husband, that's on you. I don't do that. And that's that. Because Wendy, who is Peter? Who is Peter Thomas? I asked again, who is Peter Thomas to be reporting to when landing in Miami? Cynthia Bailey, she's probably watching this episode from home like, I cannot believe this. I cannot believe Peter Thomas is on here acting a fool. I cannot believe this. I knew I divorced him for a reason. So Wendy, again, and Mia, Mia's just getting all upset about this as if she's not the one who brought up the whole husband conversation in the first place, because she goes on to say, oh, well, I feel like, Wendy, you need to change that about yourself. You need to change that about yourself. You need to change that, and you need to report to other men. And I'm like, again, Mia, you're the one that's bringing up the husbands in this conversation. And Wendy's just like, I don't have to change anything. I don't have to change anything about me or Eddie. Like, I report to him, and that's that. If you want to do something different, then that's that. That's on you. I don't get why Mia couldn't accept that. Like, nobody has to report to Peter Thomas, let alone any other man that's not their husband. So I'm not understanding, Mia. If that's what you do, that's what you do. So then Mia, she started throwing out her, her accomplishments. And she was like, well, I'm the only black woman at a board meeting. I'm the only black woman. And then Wendy, she was quick with it too. Wendy was just not letting up. And I think that's something that truly pisses Giselle, Robin, and Mia off. That Wendy, she could fight you with just words. She could eat you up, spit you up, slice you into pieces with simply just using your words, because Wendy is smart. I think that when it comes to comebacks like this, I feel like it's Karen and then Wendy followed by Candace. And that's what they can't stand. They can't stand that they can't back her into a corner, because she's gonna, respond to you with more fire. And Mia, again, she's getting more and more upset about it, that she can't embarrass Wendy and Wendy keeps embarrassing her. So again, you started this whole issue and now you're getting upset because she's responding to you. Then Wendy, she was just like, oh, well, I'm the youngest black woman professor at Johns Hopkins, so I'm not sure what you're talking about. And again, she keeps throwing it out to Mia, like, if you want to do that with your husband, that's on you, that's on you, that's on you. Mia, again, she doesn't know what to do, so she's resorting to, oh, don't talk about my husband, don't talk about my husband, don't talk about my husband. Next thing you know, this is where everything just goes out of control, because she picks up the drink that was on the table. She flings it at Wendy, and I'm not even sure if she purposely tried to miss on purpose, but the whole drink just went the other way. It zoomed by Wendy. A little bit got on her, but not too much. But again, she threw the whole drink. Wendy, her instant reaction. Did y'all see her? If you watch it closely, she was she was like a Power Ranger. She almost slapped the shit out of me. I'm like, damn, that instinct. I mean, if she would have lunged at her, I would not have been upset, because you don't throw a drink on somebody and just expect that to be okay. So Meanwhile, Wendy, she's shocked, right? But did y'all see Ashley? Ashley pulled the Kyle Richards. She ran away from that table so quickly, you would have thought that she probably saw Michael cheating on her 2 tables down. She was like, hold on, I think I see Michael with another woman. Karen, she's right there too. She gets up, she's running away with Ashley. Wendy's just looking at her like, wow, you really threw a drink on me. Mia, again, she only resorted to throwing a drink on Wendy because she was being eaten alive by Wendy simply with just words, and she could not take that. So again, Mia, you started this whole fight. You get upset that Wendy is backing you into a corner when you started this, and you were picking on her the entire time, and now you resort to throwing a drink because you can't use your words, because you can't outsmart Wendy. You can't do that, and that's why you're upset. So Wendy, she was just like, wow, I can't believe this. You're throwing a drink on me. Mia, she was like, get the fuck out of my table. Get up and get the fuck out of my table. And Wendy, whoo. Wendy, I was a little turned on because Wendy was just like, and what the fuck are you gonna do if I don't? I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, yes, Wendy. Yes. Mia, she was like, get out of my table now. Leave now. So then Wendy, she was just like, no, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not gonna go anywhere. And she wasn't backing out of Mia's face. And you know, I said it before, but Wendy is no punk. You could feel whatever way you want about Wendy, but she is not a punk. She is not gonna back down from anybody because Mia had her whole finger and her nail in her face. Wendy wasn't flinching at all. Even when the drink was thrown in her face, she didn't move or anything. She was like, oh, okay, that's that. I mean, yeah, it shocked her for a second, but you know, she wasn't gonna like back down from Mia, as she shouldn't. Jacqueline, she's also sitting there all scared. By the way, Jacqueline had also mentioned earlier that if she had met Mia when she was older as adults, you know, they probably wouldn't be friends. And that's very telling because Jacqueline, yeah, the only reason she's staying friends with Mia now is because she wants to probably be on the show. Other than that, I don't really see a point between their friendship. But then we have Robin. You know, Mia, she's one disaster, right? She's one thing because she's going off, she's going crazy, she's going wild in front of Wendy. Wendy, she's in her face. They're both in each other's faces. But then we have Robin. Robin, she starts whispering, Wendy, you need to stop antagonizing her. You're antagonizing her. Like, you really need to stop. You need to stop antagonizing her. And I'm like, Robin, antagonizing her? You're saying that Wendy's antagonizing Mia? You were sitting at this dinner table the entire time. You saw everything go down face to face. Yet now you're saying that Wendy's the one antagonizing her? Like, who's the one that flung the drink? Mia. Who's the one that started this conversation? Mia. Who's the one that brought up the husbands? Mia. And now Wendy's the problem? Robin. Like I said, Mia was one thing on this episode, but Robin, you just a whole different type of disappointment. And then on top of that, she brings out her phone and she starts recording Wendy. And only Wendy. She's not recording Mia. She's not getting both sides of the story. She's just simply recording Wendy. And if I was Wendy, I would have slapped the shit out of Robin's phone and I would have grabbed it or just thrown it off the cliff or something. Because no, you're not going to have a phone in my face as I'm going at it with somebody else. Like, that's just... Again, but then Robin, she continues on and she was like, oh, you know, I'm like TMZ. I'm recording everything because I don't want no he said, she said. And I'm like, it doesn't even matter if it would have been a he said, she said, because at the end of the day, only Mia's side of the story would have mattered. So you wouldn't have acknowledged Wendy's side of the story either way. So then Wendy, this is where Wendy kind of lost me a little bit. I was kind of confused because she starts telling Mia, oh, you know, you could do whatever with your husband. You fuck men and women with your husband. And I'm like, where did that come from? I just don't. Later on, she says that it was a rumor, but I'm like, Wendy, if I was you, I wouldn't talk about rumors because you did not like it when Giselle brought up the rumor of Eddie supposedly cheating on you last season. And now you're bringing up a rumor on Mia and her husband that we don't even know if it's true. I could have swore that last season, though, Mia said that they do. Aren't they like swingers or something like that? I'm not sure. But either way, I was kind of caught off guard with that. I'm like, okay, so then Mia... Again, she's going off, Jacqueline, and she's grabbing her. She was like, come on, we're too hot for this. Jacqueline was just trying to get some camera time. She was holding Mia back like, wait, hold on, Mia. Is the camera on me or Mia? Or both of us? Hold on, let me get into the camera. Okay, am I good? Okay. Mia, stop. Mia, stop. Mia, cut it out. I'm like, Jacqueline, stop. Like, you are just a lame, just like your friend. And if anything, I was kind of concerned more for Wendy because I'm like, okay, there's 2 of them. And if Mia swings or if she actually gets to touch Wendy, I don't know how Jacqueline moves. I'm not sure how loyal she is to Mia. Like, if Mia is losing in the fight, would Jacqueline jump in? And my whole thing is that if this was a 2-on-1 and they decide to jump Wendy, is anybody going to defend her? Karen, she's not going to get into it physically. Ashley, I'm not sure. So, that's the other thing that I was kind of concerned. I'm like, Wendy, watch your back, because she kept turning her back on them. Eventually, the security grabs Mia. They put her in the back. She's over there trying to calm down. Jacqueline is like, calm down, relax, relax, relax. I still want to be a full-time housewife next season, and I need you to be on the show. Mia's just like, I'm just so fucking pissed. I'm just so upset about everything. Like, she really came at me about my husband. And I'm like, but you're the one, Mia. Again, you're the one that brought the husband conversation in the first place into the whole conversation between you and Wendy. You told Wendy, maybe you and your husband need to change that about yourself. You mentioned her husband first, and then you're mad that she mentioned your husband back. So, and it's not like Wendy said anything crazy or disrespectful to you until you crossed the line. After you threw the drink in her face, everything that Wendy was saying after that was warranted, and it was the rules just went out the window. So then Ashley, she's checking up on Wendy. She was like, "Are you okay? Did you get any of the drink spilled on you?" Wendy was like, "Oh yeah, I got a little bit on my hair, but it's fine. I got that wet and wavy." I hope she gets like some type of deal or some type of sponsorship because of this. And then Robin. Ooh, at this point, Robin should have just put like a clown face, a clown makeup on and everything, because she was just like, Wendy, I'm not saying that I agree with everything that just happened, that her throwing a drink, but it's just like, you kept poking at her. You kept baiting her every single conversation. You kept provoking her. And I'm like, provoking, baiting, antagonizing. So let's say, Robin, with your mentality, and let's say with your rules, and now, going back 2 seasons ago or 3 seasons ago. So when Candace was in Monique's face, when she was like, are you going to drag me? You're going to drag me? You're going to drag me? So with your rules and what you're saying to Wendy right now, so does that mean that Candace was baiting Monique into that fight, and it was okay that Monique, put her hands on her? Are you saying that that's okay then? Because that's what you're basically alluding to. So now the rules changed, because back then you were so against it, but now all of a sudden it's a whole different game. So, and then on top of that, Giselle, her neck and her ankle, she kept whispering underneath her breath, because Wendy kept saying, oh, what kind of CEO, what kind of woman empowerment throws a drink at somebody? Giselle kept saying, oh, that one does, that one does, that one does, pointing at Mia. And she was just being funny with it and trying to, poke fun at the whole situation and make it lighthearted. And I'm like, so you think that this is okay? But again, going back to Monique and Candace, because it always goes back to that, you needed a whole security guard to walk around Monique. You were so scared. You were petrified to be around Monique. And now here, you're just poking fun at the whole situation, and you're okay with Mia acting like this. And it was just insane to watch this whole situation go down like this. I truly felt so terrible and so bad for Wendy. I was just like, wow. Like, they're really doing her dirty. So then Robin, she was like, I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with that. And then Wendy, she was just like, so if I was to throw a drink in your face, Robin, would you be okay with that? And Robin was just like, don't do that. And I just wish that Wendy would have picked up a glass and would have thrown a drink in her and Giselle's face, because at this point it was warranted. Like, both of you continue to try to paint out Wendy to be this crazy person this entire season, and she hasn't done anything to anybody. Again, like I said, besides outsmart Mia, Giselle, and Robin in arguments, that's what they're truly pissed about. She hasn't done anything to you guys. Like, you guys are always the ones approaching her with something, and just because she brings more fire to the fight with all 3 of you, all of a sudden, oh, she's the bad person, she's the bad guy, she's this, down the third. So eventually, Mia, she comes back out and she's walking around with the security guard. And I'm just like, Wendy, watch your back, watch your back. So Mia, she's trying to talk to Wendy again. And she was like, first of all, I don't like that you're talking about my family and my husband. I don't like that at all. I just do not like that. And Wendy, she's not having it. She was like, stop talking to me. I don't want to have nothing to talk to you about. Shut up. That shut up. I'm like, damn, I'll be quiet too. And then she kept telling her, she just kept repeating to Mia, she kept saying, you're a CEO. Look at you. You just damaged your brand. This is how a CEO acts. And you know that her words were cutting Mia to the core, because Mia could not stand it. Like, she was getting embarrassed in her own argument. And that's why, again, Mia had to resort to violence or to get in physical. So she's getting up and she was like, listen, Wendy, I'm not going to have this again with you. You need to stop. You need to cut it out. Wendy, she gets up again. So then Wendy, she's trying to get to Mia, the security guard. He grabs Wendy, and then all of a sudden, I think Wendy, like, she kind of slips or whatever. She falls over and she hits Karen by mistake. Karen, she started screaming. She was like, oh my God, I got hit. Oh my God, I got hit. The ground down got hit. I'm like, Karen, please. So then the security guard, he was so sweet to Wendy. He grabs Wendy and he like, walks her away. He was like, stop, stop, stop. Come on, you know that you're better than this. You know that you're better than this. And I'm like, oh, look at him being so sweet. If I was Wendy, I know that I'm married to Eddie. I would have slid him my number. Like, here you go. We could meet up for drinks later on in South Beach. So then, she's trying to calm down or whatever with the security guard. They're talking back at the table. Giselle, she's talking to Karen. She was like, wait, did you get hit? Like, what happened? What's going on? Did you get hit with that drink? And then Karen is just like, oh, no, I didn't get hit with the drink because God loves me. I'm like, Karen, please, this is not the time. So then Wendy, she comes back over. And then Mia, she's upset with Karen now. She was like, I just cannot believe you, Karen. Like, you're really choosing her side over mine. Like, she's talking about my husband. Like, be a friend. You're not a good friend to me. And again, the whole situation with Candace and Monique, same thing. They're trying to have Karen pick a side. And I'm like, why Karen specifically? Like, I just don't understand why. Like, does she hold that much power with everybody on this cast? Like, that she needs to pick a side? And then Giselle, she was like, you're hopping the fence, you're hopping. I thought she was saying humping. I'm like, wait a minute, Giselle, I don't think it's that type of show. But she kept telling Karen, you're hopping the fence. Be a friend to somebody. And then Giselle, if I was you, I would have just kept quiet because Karen, she used one of my favorite lines. She was like, I am friends with everybody. I'm friends with everybody, including your raggedy ass. So Wendy just continues repeating to Mia, oh, you're a CEO. You're so much for woman empowerment. You're this, that, and the third. You have all these credibilities. Yet this is how you act. You throw a drink. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to throw another drink at me? And then Giselle, did y'all hear what she said underneath her breath? I mean, she might. And I'm just like... It's just so crazy how the rules just change with Monique versus this whole situation. And it's just like, wow. So then Mia, she's getting up. She's getting more upset and more flustered again because Wendy continues embarrassing her. As she should. Mia, you started this whole issue thinking that you were going to get a moment out of Wendy and you got it. And now you're crying about it. So Mia, she's all over the place. She's trying to get to Wendy. The security guard is trying to hold her back. She's acting a hot ass mess. And next thing you know, she has a little clutch purse, right? She swings it at Wendy. Wendy, she ducks it. She turns her back. I still think that it connected with her. I think it hit her arm or her back or something. But regardless, she hit her with it. Then she throws it at her. Jacqueline, she's trying to relax her and trying to calm her down. It's not working. Mia's all over the place. Eventually, the security guard had to take Mia away and she starts crying. And she was like, oh, look at my nail. I can't believe it. My nail is bleeding. Look what she made me do. And I'm like, Wendy didn't make you do anything, Mia. This was all you're doing. Your behavior was because of your choices. Like, nobody told you to throw a drink in Wendy's face. Nobody told you to get up and try to threaten her and try to get in her face. Nobody told you to throw a clutch at her or let alone swing it at her. So again, this is all you're doing and you couldn't handle Wendy's heat. And that's why you got so upset about it. Again, you couldn't outsmart Wendy. None of you can. And that's what gets you so upset. So she's crying about it. She calls Gordon and she was like, oh, get me on the next flight back to Potomac quickly. And I want first class, like as soon as possible. And give me the seat next to the window, like as soon as possible. Look at this. Look at my nail. On top of that, Wendy's telling me that me and you, we fuck men and women. Like, who does that? Like, what's going on here? So again, she's crying, all this and all that. The two clowns, Giselle and Robin, Dumb and Dumber, they come out and they're like, oh, Mia, is everything okay? Is everything fine? Like, do you need your diaper changed? Do you need a bottle? Come over here. Come on. I'm going to give you a spa massage tomorrow. And I'm like, again, Wendy, what's her name? Giselle and Robin's hatred towards Wendy, it runs that deep that they can't even check up on her. They go up to Mia to check up on her when she was the one that caused this whole situation. Like, it is crazy to me. I was literally watching this whole episode like, they're not serious, right? Like, they're actually serious with this. But eventually they check up on Mia. Mia's just like, I'm going to go, I'm going to leave, I'm going to that, blah, blah, blah. Robin, like, just again, a disappointment. She's telling Mia, she really antagonized you. Like, she really, like, she got you where you're at right now. Like, she kept pushing your buttons. And look, she wanted this reaction out of you. And I'm like, Robin, like, like it was actually kind of scary. I'm like, Robin, you can't be that delusional. Like, and Mia, she was like, well, she got what she wanted. She wanted this reaction, so she got it. And I'm like, at this point, I'm just like, okay, like, whatever. So eventually they all reunite back at the table. Ashley, she's talking to Wendy, checking up on her. She's asking Giselle, who's right there. She was like, Giselle, what happened with Mia? Is she okay? What's going on with her? Giselle, she treats her like a 3-year-old. She was just like, Mia, she's going through a lot right now. She just went through a lot right now. She's processing all of this, everything that just went down. So it's going to take her a minute. I'm not saying that she's perfect, but it's going to take her a minute. And I'm like, again, but the real victim is right there in front of you, yet you don't check up on her. Like, Again, her and Robin just, whoo. I mean, again, I should expect this type of behavior from both of them, specifically Giselle, but I just feel like they went to a whole new low this whole episode. And Robin, yeah, it's not looking good for you because you've been trending on Twitter for 3 days now. So again, yikes. If anything, if I was you, I will write like a little sick note. I will go to the doctor, get a sick note and say that you can't attend the reunion or something because yeah, it's not looking good for you. So Wendy, she's not here for this. She's not here for Giselle or, you know, how she's empathizing for Mia. So she gets up and she was like, you know what? I'm not going to sit here and sit with a bunch of Mia empathizers because when Monique did it to Candace, when she got violent with her and she hit her, it wasn't okay then. She wasn't okay with that. But now all of a sudden that Mia does it to me, it's fine and Giselle is fine with that. So I'm not going to do with this. I'm not going to deal with this. I'm leaving. And she walks out and she was like, if I stay here or if I stay in the house, I'm going to beat the shit out of her. And I'm not sure if she was addressing Giselle, Robin, or even Mia. I'm assuming it was Mia, but again, very, very, very hypocritical of Giselle. And Giselle, I better see you on the next episode next week. I better see you with 100 security guards around you when talking to Mia or being in her presence, the same way that you have that same energy for Monique. Because if you don't, again, hypocritical at its finest. And I don't see how Giselle, Mia, or even Robin are going to get themselves out of this hole that they dug for themselves because... yeah. And, you know, so with that being said, moving forward, how do we move forward with a cast? Because at first I thought that this cast was perfect, but now the cast is divided and they're not friends anymore. I don't see Wendy being friends with Mia, Giselle, or Robin. I just don't see that in the future. I just don't see that at all. I don't see Candace being friends with Giselle. I don't see them forgiving each other. So it's just like they're split down the middle. So what's gonna happen now? Do we have like a cast shakeup? Do we bring somebody in? Do we take somebody out? What happens? What do y'all think? And on top of that, speaking of cast shakeup, we need a host shakeup too. I do not want to hear Andy at all at the reunion talking about anything that happened this season or specifically this episode because I can already see it now. This is how it will play out with Andy as the host. So, Wendy, when Mia threw that drink on you, was the drink cold or warm? Or did it get on your dress or your purse or anything? Like, what happened with that? It was warm? Okay, so let's talk about something else. Ashley, let's talk about your house. Like, I can already see it picturing like that. So, Andy, no, we need a new host. I'm not sure who the host can be. If you have any recommendations, please drop them in the comments. That's that. But again, it was pretty hard to watch Wendy just get attacked by Mia, Giselle, and Robin. Even though Giselle and Robin didn't physically do anything to her, but still, the fact that, you know, the little smart-ass comments on the sideline, like, it's just like, oof. And Robin, again, Robin, I'm just... Woo, but we shall see how this plays out. And then at the very end, there was a little description that said, oh, John Hopkins does not have any type of association with the Real Housewives of Potomac. And I just really, really, really hope that that Wendy does not lose any of her jobs because of this whole situation or her job at John Hopkins specifically. Because Mia, she came at her and she was just defending herself. And that was that. So, you know, if anything, I'm very, very, very glad that Wendy did not touch Mia at all. She did not hit her. She did not anything, even though it would have been warranted because Mia was coming at her and she was just defending herself. But I'm glad that Wendy did not lay a finger on her because I can only imagine what she would have been called by Giselle or Robin or even Mia. Like, they would have had a field day with that whole situation. So I'm glad that never happened, that it never got to that situation. But let me know what you all thought about this whole episode down in the comments. Bye, everybody. Mwah.